Evening guys, James here, just finishing off down at Southampton Boat Show. Last day here, Sunday evening, been a cracking week. And we thought we'd finish off something a little different. So we're going to run this evening behind me in the water, just started the engines up. This very, very racy looking Superhawk 55. Now we've done a couple of tours looking around these on the channel. I have been out, done many a sea trial, both with prospective and current owners. But this evening, we're going to run you out, see what she's like here. Southampton water. Don't have the drone with me as this wasn't a planned one this evening, so we just grabbed some safety kit and I'm going to run you back this evening. We'll do a little bit of docking off here as we come away and then out in open sea, and to finish off we'll be back into Swanwick. So as we say, we've already done a start-up, obviously power down a lot of the systems on the boat during the week here so that nobody plays with any of the technical things when coming on to have a look around. So we've just powered all that back up, we've got the engines on just warming her up. And we're going to take the lines off now and we'll get underway. So up in the cockpit, I've got with me this evening my engineer JB up the front there from the Southampton office. He's going to do my lines. We'll take the boat away from the dock. As you can see this evening, we've got the acrylic windscreen panel in there just in case the weather turns this evening. You have to excuse, I've got the radio chatter on in the background as the cruise ships. Let's just come around here and you can see over there, that one's departing shortly, so we're going to try and sneak out before she slips her lines and we'll be away. Yes, everything's right around us here, so we've got the single Garmin screen there, and just because we obviously don't have chart cards or anything in tonight, I'm running here on my iPad showing the cartography of where we are. So just come in on here, you can see this is the temporary Southampton Boat Show setup here. And here's the main container port all the way down here, and we'll be coming along here down Southampton water. This is the Itchen River here. This is where you'll see us doing lots of the boat listings, and then we'll be taking a hard left here around that South Cardinal up the Hamble River, and Swanwick Marina is right up the top here. So it's going to take us probably 25 minutes of slow speed here, then we can get up and running, and there's a 40 knot speed limit in here, so that'll be fine for us. And then we're back on a slow speed as we come up the Hamble. But for now, let's throw the lines and get going. So JB's just going to throw the lines off, and then what I've got is my throttle controls here and my bow thruster, and then as well as that I've got the joystick. So what that means is going to engage that now. You can see docking mode activated. That's locked the steering wheel, it's locked the throttles, and all of my manoeuvring now is going to be on the joystick. I've still got my bow thruster control there, so that's quite handy. You can see he's just sorting out the last of the lines. Got a pile down the back there, so we just keep an eye on where things are with that. And you can see we're just gently drifting here out away from the dock, onshore. Wind blowing into there. This is very, very shallow in here, so we're going to try and keep away from that. So see, just bringing the boat out on the joystick here, so everything nice and slow. You want to stay away from this wall over here. The nice thing with the joystick is quite intuitive, so really I can turn around as I'm doing here using my left hand and just back the boat down. We could do all of this with the sticks in the conventional fashion. Obviously with an IPS system the propellers are facing forward, so everything happens back to front. I'm just going to let that nose blow around naturally in the wind here, and once I've got the back corner of the boat clear of the dock here, I'm just going to rotate this joystick and that will spin the boat round as we're doing here now. You can see just rotating gently round, and we should be able to escape. So I'm just putting a bit of side thrust on now to be careful. There are these big overhangs on the side of the back of these. It rotates round. And then we'll just check the bow doesn't want to come around too much here. I've obviously got my bow thrust I can use in a minute. So now I can just knock it in reverse. And I can pretty much steer the boat now if I wanted to on the joystick system. So just tease her back now. You can see running nice and straight there. And then as I rotate the stick here, It's actually steering me past the lovely Ocean 156 there. That one will be off back to pool tomorrow. The 88 yacht that was here is left already. Doing everything nice and slow as we always do. Harbour Master's there waiting for the big ship to go, so I think we've just managed to sneak out in time. So what I'll now do is I'm just going to spin the boat round pretty much on its own axis. So I'm just going to rotate the joystick now, and you'll see how that spins it. It's progressive, so the more power I give it, the more the boat will spin round. That's the two pods working against each other to give us that really cool instant manoeuvrability. And as we come round now, I can literally knock it off the docking, engage the throttles, and we are away. So just knock both engines into gear. Speed up the seat up here, so we've got a 6 knot speed limit here in the actual dock area. And just careful of any other traffic we might see. And this is obviously what we call an MFD, so multi-function display. So it's linked into the engines, it's linked into telemetry across other systems in the boat. So I can come across here some different pages to show kind of like temperatures and pressures. And then if I wanted to, say we don't have a card in here, but you've got the base map as you can see here. It's all pinch to zoom, very, very quick redraw on here. You can see where we are in relation to the actual south coast. And then we've got things like we can have the option for video cameras, all sorts of different things, the radar, if you take those sort of items as well. So for now I'm just going to leave it on the engines on the basis I'm using my iPad for our navigation. And we wave goodbye to the boat show for yet another year. You can just see over here on the left, leaving the show for the last time. 30 something years for me on this one, so quite a few. And now starts the real fun as everybody tries to unbury their boats in there to get underway. Looks like we've got a sea line coming up here over on our starboard side. You can see the channel markers, so we've got a north cardinal over here, a green channel marker here, and then there's a red one up there, literally on the 12 o'clock. So we'll be in the main channel, up and out into Southampton water, away from all the docks and what have you in here. Talk maybe one time in the future they're going to redevelop it all in here, and this might become in time a whole new perhaps marina and south coast base in the Southampton area, so that'd be quite cool. So there's the option on the helm here, so we can have a secondary 16-inch Garmin display in here if you wish. You can have option for aircon outlets in here, very much down to owner spec, what's needed. You can see we've got the side doors open at the moment. It's quite nice to let a bit of through flow of air in. But we'll shut all this down when we get going. So we do some turns and throw the boat around. Shame we haven't got the drone so we can show you what she's like from afar, but lots of videos on the internet for that. I do actually have some pictures. I'll cut some pictures in from a trip I did up through the Needles back in the winter last year, just to show what they're like out in open sea. Really, really cool boat to drive on the IPS 950 engines. So we get up and do upper 30s in terms of top speed. And obviously no stern canopies on. You have to imagine what this would be like in the sunshine, perhaps down in Saint-Tropez, Pamplona Beach, across to like Formentera if you're based in Ibiza. Give you lots of different places that the sunshine would give you the full maximum usage of the boat. Obviously got up forward there, big sliding sun pad arrangement as well. So I'm going to leave it there for now just because we've got this slow speed run as we get up into the main Southampton water. We'll join back, let's get underway and see what she's like. Okay, so we just passed Hythe Pier here on the right hand side, which is when the speed limit finishes. And now we can get the boat up and going. So let's just ease the throttles forward. See the speed on here. A little bit of wash there from the red jet ferry that's just past us. You hear the superchargers. Turbo start to spool up and it'll get up. And we're on the way. Obviously lose a bit of visibility initially as the nose comes up. Double check we don't lose any cushions off the back. Nice wake shot there, leaving Southampton water. And we're off and away. So IPS boat, so that means, as we said earlier, props facing forward. Very, very smooth on the water. Look at that lovely wake shot back there. And we're running 33 knots here. So we've got a ship going out of the port here. Just check alongside, nothing coming. Let's just put her into a couple of turns so you can see what she's like banking over here. IPS obviously progressive, so it means we can get lots of tight steering turn here, which you wouldn't have on a shaft drive boat. So look at how that banks over. And upset the sailing boat here. Really can throw these around super aggressive. I need to stay fairly well in the channel this evening as we've got a low tide, but just bring it back up centre there. You see we're losing very little speed there in the turn, still doing 33 knots. And we'll just bring her back to a more sedate cruise speed. Give you a fair idea of what she's like, a bit more long distance. So let's watch that speed come back down. And we're back to maybe what I would say if you were doing a cross channel, or say one of those sort of runs longer distance. 22, 23 knots there, saying we've still got the visibility out the front. If I wanted to have the wind in my hair, I could have this panel out and we'd be looking, so I'll just spin you around. You're in my, absolutely in my eye line there. You can see through the horizon on the acrylic, or just dip your head down. The seat, actually, you can see the bolsters here. I've got it in the driving sat down position at the moment, and this is like a leaning bolster. So if we want to bring this up like this, put your feet on the rail, and then we're right up high. Let's just do a nice gentle turn at this speed, and you can see that cracking weather has cleared up for us this evening. And in fact, just to stay away from this ship, we'll run outside the channel over on this side. Actually, let's just stick those throttles back down, and you'll see that speed picks up very quickly. In fact, north of 30 knots, still climbing. We have a smaller ship channel here just outside the main shipping lanes, and we can get away from all this kind of busy commercial traffic. See the big Princess there heading back maybe to Plymouth, and you can see we're punching tide this evening actually, so we've got go 37, still climbing. Just checking our temperatures, pressures, boosts and what have you on here. Obviously it's very clever these days, so it'll tell you if you've got problem that it's not happy about. You can see there we're running about 37 knots, a little bit of weed on the bottom of this one, so they top out about 38 knots. Absolutely clean. Then just check behind us, and we'll do a couple of quick, just buzz it over on the steering, electric hydraulic steering here, so you can see how that moves around like a sports boat. And I can do that one finger, lock to lock, and it really does grip. It's a very, very cool boat. I know it's not a Superhawk 50 of yesteryear with triple engines doing 55 knots, but that is not where the market is for things like this these days. It's an effortless boat, cruising along very happily to your favourite cruising grounds in the sunshine. It works extremely well. Still, with all your guests here, plenty of entertaining cockpit space, and obviously this does the convertible thing with the table and sunbeds and all sorts back here that we've seen in different tours over the years. The old X95 there from Princess, very nice boat in the background. And I'm just going to ease that back now so we don't burn too much fuel. to a nice fast cruise speed there in the sort of upper 20 knot range, which for me is still a really nice place to be. Double check through my screens here. Everything looking good at the moment. This is our digital switch panel here, so we control a lot of the systems on the boat. I have a jog dial here as well as this being touchscreen. If we were running on the nav system, this would allow us to take control without having to constantly get up out of the seat. It is a very, very cool boat indeed. So we just a little bit further, we'll be down to the bottom of the Amble River here, and then we'll be turning left around the back. I'll spin this round. Obviously it's running upside down at the moment. You can see a big sandbar here, so we'll be coming around this south cardinal into the river and then up slow speed back to Swanwick. Obviously for us this is our home cruising ground, so we don't need to worry too much about looking at the nav. We know where we are. Obviously lots of commercial traffic in down here, but we've got away with the weather this evening and it's been actually a pretty nice run back. You can see all the lighting. This is beautiful. You'll see on the videos how all this sort of Union Jack-esque feel works. We've got the lovely stainless steel gates back there. And there you have it. So I'm going to finish it there for now. We'll join you back in Swanwick, show you what she's like back into the berth. Right, so here we are back into Swanwick. See a lovely 88 there awaiting PDI. And we've got plenty of tide against us this evening. Big old tide. We're to see that on the end of the pontoons as we come around the corner in just a sec. Back into our home berth in Swanwick. So we're obviously, as always, doing this in real time, so you'll get a true feel of how we do this. So first of all, bring everything back to a nice slow speed, slow the boat right down. You can see the speed coming off there as we just tease it forward. This is our rudder angle indicator, and then I'm just going to turn into the channel in here in just a sec. It's just important, the tide is going to come this way at us quite hard, so we've got to try and stay that side of the channel as we come around here until we get all the way down the end. And we obviously sit fairly well down the boat on this, so we just need to be careful that we don't catch the back end. You can see how that's crabbing the boat sideways here in the wind. So I've just taken the engines back into neutral, just let everything settle down. Now at this point we could obviously switch onto the joystick if we want to. I'm actually going to do that in just a sec. So for now I'm just using my sticks. With an IPS boat, it responds like an outdrive boat, so that means you've got to steer it as well as using your gear and throttle controls to point it where you want to go if you're not using the joystick. So obviously on the shaft, you'll see us manoeuvring, we're just generally using our gearbox controls, but I need some steering inputs when I want it to do something. It does move a little bit away, one way or the other on just the sticks themselves, but generally to get full manoeuvrability you do need to use the steering wheel. Perhaps one day we'll do an IPS boat docking just using those controls, in fact away from the joystick, just to show how that works. So as we come in nearer the riverbank here, we now start to lose the tidal effect. We've got a bit of wind on the nose and we are going to go in. Let's just come across here and you can see the berth we're going in is alongside that brand new 55 Manhattan over there. We'll try and get a tour around that one actually in the next few days, because that's a really nice boat. And she's stocked, so available now. So now, right, I'm going to put the docking on. So we're now disengaged, as we saw earlier, all of that stuff. And we're on the joystick. So if I bring that sideways, what's going to happen now is the boat's going to start coming across to starboard, knock that back into neutral. Obviously, you saw Predator 55 back at Cannes. That had the new assisted docking technology, and that means if I'm now using the joystick, every time I let go, the GPS position would affix the boat in one place. It would take you back to where you engage that system. And I think for novice boaters, or perhaps even for experienced boaters that just don't want any faff at all, that's a really, really cool system. So just gentle inputs you can see me doing here. I'll try and show you how this works in real time. whilst I'm actually doing the manoeuvring. I've got a bit of space, to be honest, in here, so this is not an overly complicated one this evening. Just gently rotating there. And we're just going to spin around nice and gentle. I have powered up my bow thruster just in case I need that. And then don't need to worry so much about the front now, just of course I don't want it to come around and hit the pontoon here, but I can literally just manoeuvre this now. You can see how that manipulates the boat to where I want to go. And when we talked earlier about the bustles, so on the back corners you can see you've got these big overhanging fiberglass mouldings, so we just have to be careful of those as we come back in, so we don't catch them on the pontoon. So again, just little steering inputs here on the joystick. Not too much of an effect of the wind this evening. You can see the flags up there pretty still. Actually really lucky with the weather. It's been a miserable day at the show in terms of rain and what have you, but we got away with it. And that lovely run back tonight. Just gentle steering inputs. Do a little bit of bow thruster to keep the boat parallel. You see James step off the boat back there. Just walk her back. So the rotational point on the joystick is actually sort of in front of that table there. So if occasionally the bow might drift away now, I can just bring that in on the thruster control. I'm just going to nip that away from the pontoon there. And we can literally just walk the boat back all the way into the berth. So this is progressive, so it'll do, there's 2 speeds. You can see the high speed mode on there if you need a little bit more. Power, it's got the extra RPMs on a really windy day, but for now, just as we do with all our docking, nice and gentle, and then I just knock it forward there to slow the boat down, and then he's going to get himself set up. So you can see I'm just basic hand signals. And then when he's ready, he'll just tell me to hold it there, and we're in. Now, of course, this is proportional, so we could hold it over on the deck here. It actually doesn't work that well on one of these because obviously you haven't got a stern thruster, so all that happens then is the bow will push itself in and the stern will float away. We do obviously have the stern line on, so once that's secured, you could then hold the bow in. So it's still a really handy feature. It's just not quite as agile as you'd see on the boats with a stern thruster. Obviously, the platform design on the back of this one doesn't allow you to have it in the way that it slides down. So obviously he's got that on now, so I could stick, if I want to there, a bit of bow thruster, pin the boat on the dock, and you can see now as it's just holding the boat against the dock. Just checking behind, obviously that we haven't got any springs on yet, that the boat doesn't drift back, and when we're ready we just take that off. And we're all good. So if I wanted to now, I could just knock it back into gear, and that's taken instantly over on the throttle controls, just gently nudging that so that we don't end up touching the key wall back here. Just show you what I'm on about there, and we get all our lines tidied up, and that's us done. You can now start to see the LEDs. These are a really, really cool boat in the dark. Everywhere you look, we've got really funky lighting built into the deck, up in the roof. We obviously saw the ones here earlier in the there, and then even up here on the bows, you can see how cool these look in the dark with all the lights there up in the foredeck. Of course, we've got our nav lights on as we're running in the low light. So that is us done. I hope you enjoyed that. Something a bit different. Really, really cool to see one of these out on the water and bring that to you here on the channel. I think it's the first one we've done actually as a sea trial on here. And if you'd like to know more about this one or anything else in the Sunseeker range, as always, please do get in touch. directly, it's James at sunseekersouthampton.com. Mobiles +44 7747 686 587. Of course, loads of content still coming up from what I've shot at the shows over the last few days. Some really cool brokerage listings coming up as well. So lots of content. It's nice to be back on the channel, and hopefully we'll see you soon.